Hi, everybody. So I wanted to do this lesson together. So hopefully you're watching and you can work together with me as we go through the video. So to start with, kind of when you hear the word or phrase, scientific inquiry, have you heard it before? Any ideas? What do you think when you hear that? Okay, so scientific inquiry is kind of just a very broad, so very term we can use that's not really defined well. It's just kind of any way that scientists can do the work to study the natural world or natural phenomena. Okay, so if you've heard about scientific method, which we'll go over more later, and other chapters, so scientific method is part of the scientific inquiry. It's one of the ways scientists can study the world. There's many different ways, and we're going to get into that more in this chapter. But I just wanted to kind of start with the few first steps. So either scientists observe something, they have a problem, they have a question. So I want to work on your observation skills, right? So we're going to make some observations about these different dice that are on the screen. I can spell, there we go. So we're going to look at, there's different levels here. So we're going to start with level 0, right? It's kind of a basic, when we think of six-sided die, okay, or dice, right? We kind of all know what those look like. So we're going to use our observation skills and our prior knowledge and see if we can figure out what side is missing. Okay, and then we're going to get even higher with level 1, and then I'm going to see how you do with level 2. Okay, so first thing, I just have to make some observations, right? Okay, so I notice on this, I'm just going to put a 5. You could draw the dots if you wanted. Okay, so that's what's on this side I'm seeing. So I'm just going to turn it to the left. Okay. Right, so I have the left is 6. Okay, just because I'm running out of room on that side, I'm going to do move to the right. Yeah, it doesn't really matter what order. I'm just going to make my observations. What do I see? Okay, and then I've got a 2. You're just going to pretend those are sides of a cube with my drawing skills there. Okay, so, right, I got a 6, a 5, a 1, and a 2. Right, so what I know about six-sided dice, right, it goes from 1 to 6, right? So I've looked at all the sides this way. So if I pull down from the top, I can see we have a 3. Right, so I just put that up here. So I see we have a 3. Okay, but I can't see this side, right? This side is blank. So I can see a pattern, and it's a typical die, so 1 to 6. Right, so I can go, well, I've got 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. So I can make the hypothesis that the missing side is 4. So I'm doing that based on my observations and my prior knowledge, right? So scientists use their prior knowledge, other experiments that have been done on the question or phenomenon. They may do some research, see what other scientists have done, right? What they've already done, right? So I'm fairly confident, right? The side is a 4. Okay. So hopefully that makes sense. So we're going to move to level 1. Okay, and we've thrown a few more things in here. Again, we're using a digital 3D model. Okay, you'll want to, if you have not already, if you've read the directions, but if you have not already, you want to open the worksheet that's on the lesson review page, so page 8. open that worksheet and download it, because you're going to need it open longer than 15 minutes. So download it, and you'll want to answer the questions based on each page because there's different activities you do. So you want to fill out the worksheet as you're going through the chapter. And when you're done with the chapter, your work should be done and you submit it. So it's much easier to do it that way than go through all the chapter and activities and do the questions after. So you want to open that up because there'll be questions about models. Okay, and what you think about level 2. Okay, so there's way more things going on here, right? I'm going to clear off my writing over here. Okay, so I'm just going to look first before I start writing anything down because there's a lot going on, right? So I'm just looking at the number in the center. Okay, so the color didn't change, the number changed, and it still has all, oh, the color did change there. So again, I have to use my observations, right? Make a hypothesis for what I think the patterns are. So what would be on this side? Okay, so I'm just going to start with 1. Okay, so I'm just going to write down, what I see for 1. And you could do it in the color if you wanted. So it's kind of that color. I've got, let's see, an orange F up here. So you can draw these or kind of just watch as I do it. I think you can probably stay a little more on track, paying attention if you also draw. We're going to kind of solve this one together, but for level 2, that's all you. Okay, so I'm just going to draw this first one. I think that's a Roman numeral 1 or an I. I'm going to write it as numeral 1. Okay, and then I've got a green 1 here. Okay, so I'm going to move it around and see if we have one that says 2. There's 3, there's 5, there's 4, there's 2, and see what I can notice. Okay, so, oops, still green. Okay, so I have a 4 here, right? So here I had a 2, and this one I have a 4. Okay, and in this one, that's not a very red color, but you get the idea. So 2's in the center. This one's blue. Choose red. Okay. Well, it looks like I have Roman numeral 2. Same color as that block. All right. And then let's see, I've got orange E, so same color. So I have an F, and I have an E. And then I have a green U. Okay. So let's look. What are some patterns we notice just between these two? Okay, so if I was gonna predict what would be on side 3, which we do have, but I just want to do some, based on my observations, make some inferences. So use the knowledge I have about the observations and knowledge I have about numbers and the alphabet and Roman numerals. Okay, and make some inferences to make a hypothesis of what I think would be on cube 3, and then I can check, see if I'm right or wrong. right? And then I can keep going if I need to refine my patterns to guess the missing step. Okay, so numbers, so I have 1 is blue, 2 is red. Okay, difference, 1 is odd, 1 is even, right? So if I go with that, right, that would mean that the 3 would be blue because it is an odd number. There we go. I've turned my pen on. No, that's still green. So it looks like this number up here is just doubled whatever is there, and it looks to be in black for both. So if I double, right, 3 is 6. I went F, E. So I'm going up backwards, right? So A, B, C, D, E, F, G, but so F, E, it would be B, right? They appear to be in the same color, right? So I'm going to say D here. That had Roman numeral 1, this had Roman numeral 2. I've got to say Roman numeral 3. Again, if you feel like you've got this and you want to speed up and see if you can solve level 3, or sorry, level 2, go for it. But if you're just want to check. So at 1 in green, 2 in green, so I'm going to say 3 in green. Okay, so that's what I think is on that, right? So that's what I think the patterns are. That's what I think is on side 3. So let's look. Uh-oh. I was right on a couple things, right? So, see, so, right? Okay, so right for D, I was right, the 3 was blue, right? I was right on the Roman numeral. Wasn't right. These are these. Okay, so I got an 8 here. Instead. And then I got a green 5 here. Okay. So I'm going to make some more observations. Okay, so I'm going to look at, I think we have, let's see, we have, oops, moving the whole, there we go. Okay, so there's 4. Right, so Roman numeral 4, 4, and I did C. I'm good there. But here I'd have 16. Here I have 12. Okay, so one thing I noticed, if you double 2, you get 4. Double 4, you get 8. Double 8, you get 16. Right, so maybe that is just the number doubled for the dice before. Right, we figured out we're just going backwards in the alphabet. 4 is even, so it's red. Roman numeral 4. But this is 12. So what do we think is going on there? So how is this green 12 related to, right, there was a 5, the dice 3, there's a 1, a 2, 5. Now we have a 12. So, what do you think? Could be related to the other numbers too, so we can look. Right, 2, 1, 1, 4, 2, 2, 6 or 8, 3, 5. And now we got 16, 4, 12. Noticing a pattern? So what do you notice about? I'm just going to do them all in green. 16, 4. Sorry. New to using this pen. Okay. 4, 12. I think I see a pattern, but let's look at number 5. Okay, so you got 32, 5, and 27. Right? So you notice any patterns? Right, so I'm noticing 16 minus 4 equals 12. 32, subtract 5 equals 27. Okay, so let's use everything we figured out for observations, our inferences, our knowledge on numbers, and see if we can figure out what side 6 would look like. Okay, so if we go to the first pattern, right? So 6 is going to be in the red color, right? So it's an even number. Okay, the upper left-hand side, right, would be 32 doubled, right? Or times 2. So 64. To figure out the green number, right, I need to take, right, 64 minus 6, right? So I should have 58. Okay, my letter, so 5 was B, so again, they've always been orange, so if it stays the same pattern, then it would be A. And then we would have Roman numeral 6. And still in black. Okay, so that's observations using your prior knowledge to figure out a pattern, right? So scientists look at data all the time to find patterns. Okay, so if you followed me through that, there you go. Or if you're even quicker and you figured that out, awesome job, but that is correct. So I want to get you started on inquiry 2 again. If you feel like you've got it, go for it. If you're still like, ooh, I'm not quite sure, you want to just, help getting started. All drives. There we go. So hit the play button, it'll open the model. I didn't say that before. Okay, so we got a couple things going here. Right, so we got something going on in the center. Okay, we got different colors, we got letters, numbers. So I recommend taking one, so it looks like we've got black, pink, orange, blue, black. Okay, so I'm just looking at the colors, right? So what do you notice the colors, right? So one thing I notice is black is in orange and orange is in black. Okay. And they are, oops, move the model all around. And they are opposite of each other. So they're on opposite sides. So If this one is pink and blue, then blue should be in pink. Aha. So I've got green and red. So what do you think is color that would be on the missing side? Okay, so you're just going to go through. Oops. And look at the digital model and see if you can figure out. So you have a couple of questions on the worksheet. One, what you think your level 2 pattern is. Okay, and you can write it out, insert a picture, however you want to do that. And then kind of look at so we use a digital model. So models are used all the time in science. So we use a digital model instead of having a physical, dice, which you've ever done this activity, you actually make paper die and then you for the sides to see it. We've got a digital model. So kind of what were the benefits of that? What were some drawbacks? Okay. So good luck with solving level 2. Again, if you're wrong, you don't lose the point on the worksheet. I just kind of want to know, did you use your observation skills, background knowledge? What's your best guess? Okay. On what would be on the missing side of this cube based on figuring out the patterns. This is a little more tricky than others, but I think you can do it. Okay. Also look to see what you notice about the A's and the B's. Right, so we know this pink slide is related to this blue slide. Okay, you know about the A's and B's, other letters. Okay. So hopefully that was helpful. Hope you had a little fun trying to figure that out. Use your scientific brain a little. Okay, again, keep using that worksheet as you go through the other pages and do the other activities. And I hope you found that interesting.